In North London, a man wanted for blackmail is trying to get away from police using a transit van as a battering ram. Anyone who gets in his way is at risk, and the police cars behind can't stop him. But help is at hand. 1,000 feet above the van is a police helicopter. The desperate man is now caught on its camera, and the helicopter crew will take charge of the pursuit.
Wrong side of the roundabout, total disregard for other road users.
The man's also a disqualified driver.
Now on the pavement, forcing his way through.
And the penalty for blackmail is up to 14 years in prison.
Currently a stop, completely bolted.
The van weighs nearly 2 tons. Enough to make the difference and avoid arrest.
Stand by, MP, completely bolted, got officers approaching the vehicle now, forcing his way through traffic.
By his manner of driving, it was obvious that he didn't want to get caught.
Tonight, how the Sky Cops deal with desperate criminals. Fugitives who'll risk everything to escape.
I think we're going to move away a bit in case he tries to do anything silly. 120 mile an hour.
Drivers who are beyond the limit.
It's crashed, MP, it's crashed.
And London gets a new helicopter, enabling its Sky Cops to get even closer.
You think you're invisible, but not to us.
No police vehicles in pursuit at this stage.
Once we're overhead, they're not going to get away.
Again, forcing traffic into the curbside, overtaking while...
In Enfield, North London, police officers are still pursuing the driver using a transit van as a getaway vehicle. Top speed, 70 miles an hour.
Bend, almost a collision with an oncoming vehicle.
Above him, London's Sky Cops continue to follow and watch. Their top speed, 140 miles an hour.
Approaching major junctions, heavy traffic, wrong side of the road.
He wasn't going to stop. He was intent on getting away. There was something amiss. He'd obviously done something he didn't want to get caught for.
The van driver doesn't know a helicopter is above him, and the Sky Cops don't know what the desperate man is wanted for. But they are beginning to realise that they are now involved in a chase which cannot be ended in the usual way.
We can have 2 units only, please, engaged in this.
When we call off the ground units, we still want them to shadow the chase, but we don't want them actually in a pursuit mode.
All other units pull back, all other units pull back from 9-9.
If we've got police cars chasing, that's going to cause the driver to drive faster and more dangerously, more recklessly, putting the public in more danger.
The driver has more than one trick up his sleeve.
It's across the grass, stand by for options, 4 possible options.
As the Sky Cops continue to record the trail of destruction.
It's a collision, no big.
Another crash.
Immediately behind.
A car bumper is ripped clean off.
There are no IRBs in this hollow. And the bandit is slowed by oncoming traffic. Forcing his way through another collision, taking the door mirror off a silver vehicle.
The chase has now been going on for half an hour, and there's no sign of the fugitive tiring or looking to stop.
Coming up to a major junction, a red ATS forcing his way through on the offside of the road. It's now the wrong way down the carriageway towards the A10 junction.
It was just driving like a complete lunatic, no regard to any other road users, either on and off the road. He was on pavement, and he just quite plainly was not going to stop until he either ran out of fuel or crashed or whatever.
Very, very heavy traffic, red ATS, still wrong side of the road. Stand by. It's now a left, A10.
The Sky Cops' tactic of chasing police cars to back off and wait till their runaways give up or run out of fuel isn't working today. The helicopter is starting to run low.
MP from 99, we're getting low on fuel, approximately 10 minutes fuel left. We're now approaching the
We're
major...
talking to the pilot all the time. He's giving us updates on the amount of fuel we've got left.
Approaching a roundabout, MP, wrong side of the road.
There's always the occasion that the good jobs come out towards the end of your fuel load and you have to break off, otherwise we fall out the sky.
Red ATS ahead, stand by. Wrong side of the road, MP. Coming up.
The situation is critical, but there's no sign the pace is slowing.
And it's back to his own side of the road, continuing southbound.
If the Sky Cops have to pull off to refuel, this desperate driver stands a good chance of getting away.
Green ATS, stand by. It looks as if it's going to be a right into Bullsmore, forcing his way across traffic.
But at last there's a change. The van appears to be slowing.
Go on for Rosie.
Bulked at the moment by reasonably heavy traffic. The target has slowed, and it's now a right. Stand by for road name. It's a dead end. This road is a dead end. Stand by, MP. Looks like the driver's out. Yeah, this is a decamp, MP. Stand by, MP.
The driver is now on foot, but inside a garage. All the Sky Cops can do is hope the officers on the ground are close enough.
I don't know whether he was getting his tyres changed or what. He'd had enough, but it was really just try and get away any way he possibly could.
There's sufficient units on scene. It may be one in custody.
The guys on the ground were there with the dog as well, and he was detained quite quickly.
Right, we're having you, mate. Yeah. And the one in the night.
Just in time. The Sky Cops must return to base.
I'd sort of said we're going to go. We're practically on vapour at the moment.
London's police helicopter carries the call sign India 99. Home is 5 minutes flying time from the centre of London, Lippets Hill in Essex.
Now set for landing.
Right on the edge of Epping Forest, it's a historic site from a bygone era. A former prisoner of war camp for Italians dating back to the 1940s. And today is the end of another era. This police helicopter has just flown its final mission.
Good stuff, boys. Yeah, nice one.
After 10 years of service with the Metropolitan Police, the fleet of 3 helicopters is to be sold off. For the pilots, it's not a moment too soon.
Our right-hand generator won't come online. There's a heap of junk, this aircraft.
Because of their age and they'd had various modifications and they hadn't all had the same modifications, they did have their own quirks. And one of them in particular was a rattling machine. The engineers are very capable at fixing the machines, but they can only do so much.
Well, it works. Can't do it. Got shut down.
They were coming to the end of their life. We'd had them 10 years. They've all got over 10,000 flying hours on them, and they were starting to feel it.
Was it Victor Meldrew? I don't believe it.
You might be expected to have a bit of nostalgia about a machine that you've flown for a few years and a few thousand hours, but I must admit, I'm not sad to see them go.
So, it's out with the old and in with the new. A £5 million purpose-built crime-fighting machine. They're bigger, faster, can fly for much longer, and feature the very latest in anti-crime technology, both inside and out.
Oh, it's a lovely machine. It's like having your Mondeo taken away and being given a Ferrari as a company car.
They are unique machines, capable of carrying teams of firearm officers or special forces for rapid deployment anywhere in London. Sergeant Richard Brandon has spent the last 2 years planning and overseeing the construction of the new helicopters. For the first time, a police officer has been allowed to use his crime-fighting skills to decide on what equipment the helicopter has on board.
Technologically, this is a massive development from the Squirrel aircraft. At a very base level, it's a huge space, so it's a very versatile airframe. One of the biggest innovations is this quad screen. And the screen's a touch screen technology, so it allows me to bring any one of those 4 images up for a full screen view. And when I'm finished looking at that, go back to my quad screen display. And it allows me quite clearly to see the detail that I need to see, but as well as that, to get a situational overview. This is certainly one of the most advanced, if not the most advanced police helicopter flying today.
At the Skycops base, it's one of the biggest days in the air support unit's history. The formal unveiling of the new fleet.
Today's the official handover of the 3 new aircraft to the Metropolitan Police Air Support Unit. It's obviously a great pleasure to be operating a brand new aircraft, state-of-the-art machine. It's very exciting, just like big boys' toys. Very nice aircraft to operate.
All the top brass are here, including the boss. They are seeing for the first time what £15 million can buy.
You've got capacity in the back there to carry 6 people safely.
Let's have a look.
It makes a massive difference.
Gosh, that makes a huge difference.
For me, today is a very proud day. I'm, genuinely pleased to see the aircraft come into service. Genuinely happy that everybody that's flown in them likes them. We've got to deliver now. We've said we could do it. Now we've got to prove we can.
New helicopters mean every single one of this unit's 28 police air observers and civilian pilots must be retrained.
Okay, do a proactive test now, surface them out, just get some details.
Sergeant Brandon must teach them all how to master a new bag of tricks and bring his baby to life.
We're looking at basically the Ulster town centre area around the one-way system.
But while Sergeant Brandon trains, criminals are trying to take advantage. In East London, the police are after a burglar who's trying to escape in a black Volkswagen, stolen from a house that the man robbed last night.
Kilo Golf 1 2, proceed, I've lost the stolen vehicle and the unit assistant.
He is driving so dangerously that a helicopter is urgently needed. The chase is taking place less than a minute from the Skycops base, and a second helicopter is already being scrambled.
BG6, southbound, he's just driven on the wrong side of the road in front of the police station.
There he is. Past that junction now, good.
The shoot that's going on at the moment, just to let you know, he's hit 2 vehicles here, one of them's completely undrivable.
No time now to learn any new tricks. This calls for experience, and Rear Observer PC Norman has plenty of that. He's been a Skycop for 8 years.
Yeah, ground units from Midnight, we are overhead downlinking.
Downlinking means the helicopter's pictures are being beamed into New Scotland Yard.
The suspect clearly didn't want to be stopped, and the manner of their driving was extremely dangerous. They spent some time on the central reservation in trying to evade the police in the hope that the pursuing vehicles on the ground won't be able to follow.
The vehicle is now westbound on the A124 Ridge Road.
Vehicle's out the wrong way on the A13, wrong way A13.
By driving on the wrong side of the road, the car thief has made sure the police cars can't follow him.
When the vehicle decided to go the wrong way up the A13, obviously I had to make a decision as to whether it's appropriate or not for vehicles to follow him.
No police vehicles in pursuit at this stage.
This chase has now become so fast and so furious that PC Norman has no choice. Everyone is going to have to back off.
So, ground vehicles disengage, Indian 999 at this stage, okay?
I wouldn't say it was an easy decision, but it can become cut and dry when you look at certain situations and you think this could really cause serious harm to a member of the public if we allow it to continue. It was driving very erratically and very dangerously, really.
He's going to end up killing someone. I don't want to be here. Difficult to watch this, actually. Yeah.
The stolen car came within inches of hitting not one, but 2 other cars.
MP, the vehicle is junction now, Longbridge Road with Foreshore Avenue, the roundabout.
The Volkswagen isn't going as fast as it could. Its front tyres are shot.
That tyre's gone.
Damaged when the thief drove off-road. But he isn't showing any signs of stopping.
Both front wheels have gone. He's doing well.
So too is India 99, thanks to her pilot, a former military helicopter combat flyer who's just become a Skycop.
I'm coming through, just have a look. Yeah.
His job is to keep the stolen car in sight without letting the driver know he's being followed from above.
Having to utilise all your flying skills to position the aircraft, keep up with the pursuit, and listen to what's happening between the police and the observers, and a lot of experience from the military comes forward into that. It's akin to a combat situation in a way sometimes.
And it's straight over southbound.
And this battle is getting harder by the second.
Which is the A13 towards London.
The vehicle was moving towards London, more importantly moving towards City Airport. So it was quite important that the observers liaised with the pilot, and the pilot in turn liaised with air traffic control to ensure that there weren't any air traffic issues which would get in the way of the pursuit.
The wrong side of the road, no traffic immediately towards as we speak.
Around 300 flights land and take off from City Airport every day. If India 99 gets in the way, there'll not only be danger, but also massive disruption.
So you've got to not only watch what the aircraft is doing, we've got to listen to air traffic and maintain a situational awareness so that you don't start endangering other people, such as airliners and stuff.
Now northbound, which is across the Connaught Bridge towards City Airport.
As the desperate driver continues to take chances, the Sky Cops are at last managing to get police cars into position to try and stop him.
He's across the road now. He's back onto the right side of the road, westbound, and this time he is the correct side of the road.
The plan is to box him in, as his disintegrating tyres force him to slow down.
Yeah, P from Indy 99. Vehicle is now westbound Woolwich Road. There's ground units for saying it looks like the tyre's out, and there are units now behind in case there is a decamp over.
It'll be a hard right turn if you decamped.
Probably because they realised they were becoming hemmed in, they started to slow down. But there were a large number of police vehicles behind them.
Yeah, that's good. Nice positioning. It's going to be a decamp. Remember, Chris, you're going to go with...
It's now clear that the two men in the car want out, at any cost.
We weren't initially that sure why they were slowing down. However, it then became apparent that they were looking for somewhere to run from the vehicle.
Remember, Chris, you're going to go with the driver, yeah? Yeah. Any occupants up here?
I'm not sure if they planned for where they ended up stopping, because when they got out of the vehicle, they didn't have many places to go, so they ran to a wall, which, unfortunately, from their point of view, when they looked over the top of it, they'd have seen there was about a 40-foot drop. It looked from where we were as if they were prepared to take the risk of jumping, which, in my view, would have probably put their lives at risk. However, fortunately for them, the police officers that were pursuing managed to stop them from doing that, and it probably saved their lives. The suspects were detained and taken away.
7 p.m, Lippets Hill. The new helicopters are now on the clock, around the clock, and there's a changing of the guard. Cara Bond isn't a Sky Cop, but she is the one who must be obeyed tonight. As duty controller for the next 12 hours, she will say yay or nay to all requests for the helicopter's help.
I actually quite like nights. They're quieter, the phone doesn't ring as much. I can get on with a lot of my duty stuff, the payroll. I've got my dog in tonight, just for a few hours. My husband's at work, so she's keeping me company.
Last year, Sky Cops assisted in the arrest of almost 1,000 suspects, from reckless drivers to armed robbers.
India 99, receiving India Lima.
India 99.
The unit hopes that the new machines with twice as much flying time will enable them to substantially increase that figure. It doesn't take long.
I've got a job for you, please. It's page 120.
The Sky Cops are needed in northwest London to help look for a young offender who's absconded.
A suspect had made off on a motorcycle earlier in the day, and we were called to a playing field where the suspect had been seen.
Thank you.
Good evening, Aldrich, Camp 11725, the West Hendon playing field to search for the suspect you're after.
The teenage offender has ridden the stolen motorbike into the park in Barnet, but it's so dark that officers on the ground can't see a thing. They need the Sky Cops thermal imaging camera.
You believe him? Do you think he's gone to ground or something, or is he actually riding about?
We don't know where the bike is at the moment, but there are a group of people in the middle of the park. We're hoping he's in amongst them, Mother.
Let's get the camera on it in case he decides to go for it. That's it. That's where you are. Good.
PC Dalton's on the camera, and the plan is to get the cops in the park to walk towards the people on the swings.
Swings, we're just having a look out. Can't see motorcycle or anything at this stage.
MP 99 from PS98. We're going to walk in towards the group that are on the swing.
Yeah, that's received. We'll keep an eye on them.
Just confirm for me it is lost.
Again, it doesn't take long.
At that point, a combination of the ground officers and us hovering overhead has made the suspect realise that we were looking for him.
Yeah, one's running.
Stay with him.
Hey, he's running towards the house.
One of the group just took off like a bat out of hell straight across the park. For the officers on the ground, it would have been completely dark. They wouldn't have had a very good idea as to where he was going. But we followed him.
If we can, I know.
Just confirm he's still on the move.
Yeah, he's gone into an address actually. I've got an officer walking through the park towards the back of fences.
Once we're overhead, we get a much better view, especially when it's night time. We've got our thermal cameras, because we can obviously see each side of the house, whereas ground officers can only see the side that they're on. We're also in a better position to manage officers on the ground around the location.
Yeah, the officer at the back of the fence. You're at the right place there. Caution though, I think there are a couple of dogs there.
PC Norman is now using another of the advances in technology built into this new police helicopter, an electronic moving map display.
One of the biggest pluses of the navigation system is the fact that we can point the camera in their direction and the mapping shows exactly which address they're at, whose garden they're in, what street they're in. It's a fantastic system for that.
Yeah, as you walk towards the helicopter, it's the next on your left now, left. That's it, with a car parked on the drive.
But there's a problem. The owner of the house says the fugitive isn't there.
Be advised, the occupants started spotted a line about how somebody's just ran out the address.
We didn't see anyone on that, did we?
No, I don't think so. You can go back on the replay recorder if you want, mate, but...
Yeah, from 99, I'm just going to rewind my tape and have a look for you, but we're pretty sure no one ran out.
It's rare for the Sky Cops to lose a suspect once they've been caught on camera.
And this is where the new technology on the new aircraft really came into its own.
Yeah, from India 99, we're just reviewing our tape to see whether we can see anyone come out.
Simon was able to go back to the footage that we just recorded to see whether or not somebody had actually come running out of the house at any time. And he was able to confirm that they hadn't.
Friends, he confirms that was Jordan that's running to their rear garden. Keep the house surrounded. It's his girlfriend's address, huh?
He's in there.
It transpired it was his girlfriend's house. He'd obviously thought that he could use it as a rabbit hole.
Oh, someone on the roof.
The rabbit is out of the hat and in danger.
Just from it.
Active message on the roof of the premises.
Yeah, from India 99, the suspect is on the roof. I think there's an officer talking to him through a skylight. Yeah, see your X-ray from India 99, he's standing on the roof.
X-ray from 98, threatening to jump. Can you get me the LAS just in case, please?
I think we're going to move away a bit in case he tries to do anything silly, and that'll allow the officers to speak to him. Over.
The X-ray is threatening to jump.
Yeah, India 99 are moving away, but we'll keep it on camera for a distance.
The situation on the ground is getting out of control. PC Dalton knows that not only is the fugitive, who's 14, taking risks on the roof, he's in danger of sparking trouble below.
As soon as he went up onto the roof, he put on a bit of a spectacle for the local residents, standing right up on top of the chimney pot. He obviously wanted to go out with a bang.
He's standing on top of a chimney stack at the moment, so it's quite precarious. In fact, I'd suggest no more units, as there are quite a lot of people there, particularly if you're going to end up negotiating with him, etc.
The suspect may well be known in the area and may well have friends and associates in the area, and we're quite keen not to encourage the drama, as it were.
In the interests of safety, PC Norman decides to take the helicopter off the scene.
As long as the suspect is secure, as he was in this case, we might then decide to leave in order that he doesn't play up to us and his friends. That's the decision that I made in this instance.
Right, I think we ought to head for home.
We left them to it. He wasn't going anywhere.
Every time the Sky Cops land, they refuel. Aircraft fuel is much cheaper than petrol, at less than 40p a litre, but the yearly bill is huge, nearly £350,000. Tonight, like many nights, the Sky Cops spend many hours doing nothing.
We keep ourselves busy, we'll get some dinner, watch a bit of TV, do some paperwork, and after about 4 or 5 hours, and it's getting late at night, then you start to feel kind of weary. So you've got to keep yourself motivated. So yeah, it can be frustrating, but you just got to find things to do. Read a book.
It's 2 in the morning, and there's trouble on the way.
Speed increasing up to 90 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone.
A young woman has stolen a car after a burglary in Essex, and she and her male accomplice are trying to get away from the police who tried to stop her.
We're in the fast lane heading towards Barking, MP.
India 99 crew, please, to the aircraft. Thanks.
They're heading into London.
Stand by horizon. Okay.
A job for India 99 and the Met Sky Cops.
Right, ready for check.
Stand 813. 822.
99's pursuit commander tonight is PC Ayres, who is surprised by what is racing along the carriageway beneath.
Within sight, 110 mile an hour.
I've not heard of too many pursuits involving female drivers.
120 mile an hour.
DN99, India 99, receiving. Can you give your ETA, MP?
India 99, we're at the next roundabout, waiting for them to come towards.
We were probably there 10 minutes. Identified it, we get established on scene, make sure all the crew are happy, what they're looking at. Then we take up as ground commander.
We're overhead now, there's no change, still A13, lane 2 of 2.
2 received.
With a maximum speed of 175 miles an hour, the Met's new helicopter will have no problem keeping up with the speeding car.
Kilo 10, that's just see for thanks, India 99, keep up the commentary, MP.
The trick is to find a way of getting traffic cops in front of it to slow it down. But tonight, there's no time for that.
Right direction, he's into lane 1, he's now lost it, it's crashed MP, it's crashed MP, it's crashed A13. Stand by for the junction name. Vehicle stopped, police units on scene.
You're thinking about, are we going to need other emergency services? Are there going to be injuries in the car?
99, crashed, received, ambulance on way to MP.
Although they may be potential criminals and have fled from police, you've still got to think about their safety as well.
Amazingly, the driver and her passenger are uninjured, a lucky escape, but not for long.
There are 2 suspects that have been arrested, both the driver and the male passenger. Information units, it's an IC4 female was the driver. She claims to be pregnant, would you believe? No other assistance is required at this stage.
At 110 miles an hour, anything could have happened.
It looks fairly dramatic on film. Fortunately, the Armco, the central reservation, is designed to take an impact. So that would have taken the speed out of the crash.
We're almost done here and we're going to start ridging back towards base.
Many thanks to Oscar Juliet 90 for the commentary. Many thanks to India 99.
When the woman who claimed to be pregnant was examined by a doctor, she was found not to be pregnant. She was charged with dangerous driving and theft of a motor vehicle. The driver of the stolen Volkswagen got 10 months for dangerous driving and 20 months for burglary. The youth on the roof came down after nearly 2 hours and was sent back to custody. And the driver of the blue transit van pleaded guilty to dangerous driving but has failed to turn up in court for sentencing and is still at large.